Okay, good morning, everybody. I hope all of you are doing well. It's great to see you guys after 4 days. Okay, so how's everybody? Just give me a minute, guys, as I set up my device. Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. 1 second as I set up my device. Okay. Let's see. Okay, checking. So the device is connected now. We are all set to go. We are at 129 people. I'm assuming that the other 120 odd people will be joining us soon. Let's see. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Chetan, Sanjana, Veeresh, Sushma, Anusha, Manisha, Harish, Sneha, Sampada, Nirja, Sanjana. Okay, Pritish, Ruchi, Bhumika, Advait, Sanchita, Sahana, Ashwin, Shreya, Sushma, Diya, okay, Sahana, Varsha, Fiza, Pushpa, Dhanush, Sindhu, Shashwat, Sanjita, Vinayak, Rakshak, Sukanya, Vidya, Prakriti, Shravana, Guru Kiran, Lasya, Kishore, Prajwal, Meghna, Dhanush, Sakshi, Ankita, okay, Sahana, Abhishek, Chetan, Gauri, Suraj. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. सबका नाम ले लिया है मैंने. Okay. Good morning, Kushi. Good morning, Bhavna. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. Okay. I hope all of you are doing well. Okay. So I hope that you're utilizing your time to study. Okay. Because this Sunday you guys have test. Okay. This Sunday you guys have test. Okay. Morning, Shashwat. Okay. So this Sunday you have test of first chapter of all the 3 subjects, if my memory serves right. Okay, so you will have, yeah, you'll have test of all the 3 subjects combined, right? So you will have a biology first chapter test, that is reproduction in organisms. Okay, so what I'll do is after today's class I'll upload the rest of the module in the drive, so you can download it from there. I'll also put it in the group, so you can download and solve from there. Okay, timing of the test, Pritish, will be told to you a day before the exam. Okay, why do you worry about timing of the test? Yes, Prajwal, those will be MCQ type questions. Okay, Sahana, so this week you have class on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay. No, Kirti, this is not empty, beta. This is not empty. You just have 1 chapter of all the 3 subjects. Okay. First chapter of biology, first chapter of chemistry, and first chapter of physics. Okay. Yes, Anushri, at least that's what I'm aware of. You can cross check with your physics and chemistry teachers. Okay. But as far as I saw the syllabus, there was electrostatics in physics, and I think solid state in chemistry, if I'm right. Yes, those will be MCQ type questions. Okay, and the same pattern as NEET. Okay, so yeah. Okay. Okay, so that was something I wanted to get across. Make sure that you guys prepare well for it. Okay, I will be uploading the notes. Sorry, not notes. I will be uploading the rest of the module in the drive, and then you can download it from there and you can solve the questions. Okay, Naren, yes, beta, it will be on LMS. It will be on LMS like you have written your previous exams. Okay, from next week we'll have classes. Dhanush, most probably from next week it should be from Tuesday to Friday, but we'll see. Okay, on Sunday the schedule is updated, so Sunday we check kar lena. Okay. Pritish, for that you'll have to contact the tech team beta. Okay, then you can write it in the same manner that you wrote the MTs also. Okay. Okay. Anything else that you guys would like to ask? Otherwise, I will start with the class. So today is your 6th lecture, right? Today is your 6th lecture of human reproduction, right? So after today's class, I will need 2 more lectures. This week I'll definitely finish off. This week I'll definitely finish off your human reproduction chapter. Okay. Yeah, 8 lectures, something that I require, and I was given 10 lectures, so the other 2 lectures I'll be utilizing for problem solving. Okay. Okay. And after that I'll be starting with your next chapter, that is reproductive health, which should not take, according to my knowledge, more than 3 to 4 lectures. And after that, the batch will be handed over to Neha ma'am, and she will continue teaching you guys the next 3 chapters. Okay, so that is how it's going to be. Okay, so most probably next week will be the last week of my classes for you guys for the foreseeable future, and after that we'll see how everything pans out. Okay, let me just check few things. Okay, okay. So we'll start then. Sure. Let's start with the chapter. Let's start with the today's lecture. Okay, Dhanush, unfortunately, That's something that's not in my hand. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'll try to have a conversation. Not in my hand for the most part. Okay, so human reproduction. So you have lecture 6. Okay, good morning, Kirtan. So let's start off with a quick recap of what we did in the previous class. Okay, so in the previous class we focused on two main topics. The topics were your oogenesis and your menstrual cycle. Those were the two things that we focused on in your last class, right? In your oogenesis, we saw that. Okay, Kishore will see, beta. Kishore will see. Yeah. Okay. So in oogenesis, okay. So next, for which unit will I be back? So I'll be back with for the unit after that. Okay, in which you have your human health and diseases and all that chapter. Okay. So I think the unit is microbes in human welfare or something like that. Okay, so that is where I'll be back. Okay, the third unit, which is okay. Let's see. Yeah. The thing is, because there are a lot of Prerna students here, right? And Neha ma'am has taught those students in 11th standard. So those students would want her to teach, right? So that is why she has to take some lectures. Okay. Anyway, we'll see. Yeah, British of my kya karu. Okay, there are only 40-50 global students, right? So not exactly in my hand. Anyway, so in oogenesis, we talked about your how the gametes are formed. Okay, how the gametes are formed. Okay, how the gametes are formed, right? So how female gametes are formed. We talked about your primary oocyte, right? We started with oogonia, then we talked about your primary oocyte, and then after primary oocyte, right? After primary oocyte, we talked about your secondary oocyte, and we saw that, okay, at secondary oocyte stage, the egg is released. Secondary oocyte is nothing but your egg also. Okay, when will college start? Most probably we are hearing July, but nothing can be said now. Okay, okay. And in menstrual cycle, we saw that there are 4 phases, right? There is menstrual phase, then there is follicular phase. Okay, then there is follicular phase, and after that you have your ovulatory phase or ovulation, right? And after ovulatory phase, what we have is, after that we have your secretory phase. After that, what we have is secretory phase, also known as luteal phase. Okay, so that is what we started in last class. Okay, so as always, I have a couple of revision questions for you guys, and then we will start with today's lecture. Sure, let's do a couple of revision questions right off the bat. So the first one is on your screen. Okay, menstruation is triggered by sudden decline in the amount of hormone secreted by corpus luteum. What is the hormone? As I mentioned in the previous class also, that a lot of questions will be asked. Based on hormones of menstrual cycle. So you should know in which phase which hormone is at the peak, which hormone is at the bottom. Okay, and secretion of what hormone leads to what. So your options are luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, progesterone, and estrogen. Okay, those are the options that you guys have on your screen. Menstruation is triggered by, that is, the endometrium layer starts breaking down because of a decline in particular hormone. What is that particular hormone? मैंने class में mention किया था. So let's have a quick poll. Then, beta. Okay, so now the poll is live on your screen. Okay, get your votes in, beta. Get your votes in. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So far 79 of you have voted. Okay. Okay, 10 seconds and I'll close the poll. 10 seconds and I'll close the poll. 60% of you have voted. That is 120 people have cast their votes now. 10 seconds and I'll close the poll. Okay, 5 seconds and I'll close the poll. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and I'll stop. Okay, let's see. So according to you guys, if I share the results with you guys, so according to you guys, 48% of the people who voted think that C is the correct answer, that is progesterone. Then 30% think that B is the correct option, that is follicle stimulating hormone, and 16% think that A is the correct option. Beta dekho. First thing that you should know is, again, what is corpus luteum? So corpus luteum comes from your Graafian follicle, right? When the Graafian follicle ruptures and releases your egg, that turns into corpus luteum. The first two hormones which are secreted by your pituitary gland, right? The first two hormones are secreted by your pituitary gland. So how can corpus luteum be secreting them, right? Luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone are part of the hormones of the anterior pituitary. So A and B can never be the option. A and B can never be the option, right? And estrogen is, if you remember, estrogen is secreted by the growing follicle. That is when the primary follicle is turning into a secondary follicle, and that is turning into a tertiary follicle, and then into a Graafian follicle. That is responsible for your production of estrogen. What is the correct option? Progesterone, right? Progesterone is the hormone that is secreted by corpus luteum, and that is what is responsible for your maintenance of the endometrial layer. And if pregnancy does not happen, then corpus luteum gets degenerated. As a result of that, the progesterone level falls, and as a result of that, the endometrial layer breaks. So the correct option is what? C, progesterone. Okay, chalo, let's go to the next one, beta. Okay, so the next one is, which of the following contains a fluid filled cavity called antrum? Which of the following contains a fluid filled cavity called antrum? Okay, primary spermatocyte, primary follicle of ovary, tertiary follicle of ovary, secondary follicle of ovary. Okay, which of them contain antrum? That is what the question is on your screen. Okay, chalo, let's have a quick poll then. Jaldi se bata do beta, which one of them, okay, contains antrum? Which one of them contains antrum? Simple sa question hai. I mentioned kiya tha last time, in the last class when I was talking about your primary oocyte, secondary oocyte, right? And your primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle, Graafian follicle, corpus luteum. And I mentioned kiya tha, where do we first see a fluid filled cavity, and what is it called? I mentioned that explicitly, and I told you ki that is a very determining factor in differentiating between those two type of follicle. Okay, 10 seconds and I'll close the poll. So for 50% of you voted, 10 seconds and I'll close the poll, beta. Make sure that you get your votes in. Okay, again, negative marking to hai nahi, get your votes in. At least that gives me an idea how much you guys remember, how much you guys have understood. Okay, 5 seconds and I'll close the poll, beta. 5 seconds and I'll close the poll. Okay, okay, 3, 2, 1, and I'll stop. Okay, so let's stop the polling then. Got it. Okay, so 140 of you voted. That means there were 60 plus people who did not vote. Chalo. So according to you who voted, 52% of you think that C is the correct option, and C is indeed the correct option. C is indeed the correct option. Tertiary follicle of ovary contains a fluid filled cavity known as antrum, right? And that is the differentiating factor between a secondary follicle and a tertiary follicle. That is, a secondary follicle does not have a fluid filled cavity, but a tertiary follicle does. So the correct option is option C, tertiary follicle of ovary. Okay, chalo. So now we'll start with today's lecture. What are we going to cover today? Today we are going to, in the last class we stopped with your menstrual cycle. There was one small topic that I could not cover because of the lack of time. That was your menopause. Chota sa hai, we'll cover menopause, and after that the only topic that we are studying today is your fertilization. It's a very complex procedure. Okay, so in your textbook they have wrapped it up quickly. Okay, and that is something that is sufficient if you are studying only from the board's point of view. But from the NEET point of view, there are the certain things that you guys need to know, right? That is, how exactly does fertilization take place? What are the mechanisms which ensures that more than one sperm does not fuse together, right? So there are multiple things over there. Okay, and we will be covering each one of them. Okay, take it. So let's start with your menopause. What exactly is menopause? Okay, so menopause is, simple terms, when a woman stops menstruating. Menarche is the first menstrual cycle. Okay, menarche is the first menstrual cycle or the beginning of the menstruation, and menopause is the end. Okay, so what is menopause? It is a phase in woman's life when ovulation and menstruation stop. Okay, and it usually occurs in women of 45 to 50 years of age. It usually occurs in women of 45 to 50 years of age. Okay, na? So what is menarche? Menarche is your beginning of the menstrual cycle. The first menstrual cycle is known as menarche. Okay, and when the menstrual cycle and the ovulation stops, that phase of a woman's life is known as menopause. That phase of women's life is known as menopause. Okay, and usually in women, okay, it's not like suddenly, you know, they will abruptly stop. Usually what happens is there are months in which they will menstruate and there are months in which they will not menstruate. So they will have irregular periods for some amount of time and then they will stop. But in very few women, they abruptly stop also. That is, they were having regular menstrual cycle till the age of 45, 50, and then they abruptly stop. But in most of the women, before menopause comes, there is at least few months where the periods are irregular. In 1 month, you'll have your menstrual cycle, in the other month, you might not have. Right? So if once a woman reaches the age of 45 to 50 years old, then the chances of menopause are very high. And if at that stage your periods are getting irregular, that means if at that stage at that stage, okay, your periods are getting irregular, that means you might be heading for menopause. Ashwin, just give me a minute, I'll explain your doubt. Okay, so some women have irregular cycles for months or years prior to menopause, while others simply stop menstruating abruptly, right? While others stop menstruating abruptly, but in most of the cases, what happens is, okay, in most of the cases, that is, there are irregular periods for months or few years, and then you stop menstruating. Can it occur at early years? If it occurs at early years, that means there is a reproductive defect in the woman. Okay, by the age of 45 to 50, if it's happening, that means it's completely fine. But if it is happening at the age of, let's say, 30, 35, 40, that means there might be some reproductive defect in the women. Okay, and at that stage, she should go to a gynecologist and get herself checked. Okay, so Ashwin asked, eggs are still present, then why does it stop? So the exact reason why menopause occurs is, like, there are multiple theories or reasons given, but there is no scientific, there is some scientific evidence, but not exactly, right? So there is one thought that says that there are no more eggs left in the ovary. So since if there are no more eggs left in the ovary, obviously you will not menstruate. Then there are some scientists or doctors who believe that it is because of the fall in the hormones of LH and FSH. That is your anterior pituitary of a woman. Once she reaches the age of 45 to 50 years, the LH and FSH are not being produced at high level. As a result of that, follicle growth nahi hota, and then hence menstruation does not take place. Okay, in girls, if there is a gap of 1 month, then it is menopause. No, that is not the case, beta. There are sometimes, okay, menstrual cycle depends on a lot of factors. If the girl is under stress, if the girl is not eating properly, right? Like, let's say a girl of 25 years old, she skips 1 month of her menstrual cycle. That does not mean she's heading for a menopause, right? Because menstrual cycle is very fickle. If you are not eating properly, if you're under a lot of stress, if you're not taking care of your body, then the chances of you skipping a menstrual cycle are very high. Okay. Pushpa, so after menopause, the endometrial layer does not get regenerated, because the sole purpose of endometrial layer is to nourish the growing baby. But agar egg hi release nahi ho raha, then there will be no pregnancy. So endometrial layer does not regenerate once your menopause has been reached. Dhanush, yes. So in some women, it keeps the menstrual cycle happens at the age of 50, 55 also, 60 also, but those are rare cases, beta. Okay, Ankit, they can, but in very rare cases. Okay, it can stop before 50 years. Yes, beta, it can happen. As I said, it can happen before that also. Okay, if I missed anybody's doubt, forgive me here, because I got a lot of doubts. So I'm sorry if I missed anybody's doubt here. Okay. Yes, Dhanush, that is, menopause once happens. After that, the women will no longer bleed through the vagina, because the endometrial layer is no longer being regenerated. Okay, I hope Kushi is asking, does endometrium layer disappear after 45? But disappear nahi, dekho. Every month your body regenerates that layer. So once body realizes कि pregnancy होने नहीं वाला, वो regenerate नहीं करेगा, disappear कुछ नहीं होता. ठीक है, चलो आगे बढ़े फिर. Okay, thank you very much for all your doubts. Now let's talk about your fertilization. That was just a small topic, menopause, which you guys should know. Okay, now let's talk about your fertilization. Okay, what is the exact process? What are the events that lead to fertilization, and how does fertilization exactly take place? Okay, Chetan, there is no evidence for that here. I don't think you can say that conclusively. Okay, okay. So how does the process of fertilization start? Obviously, for that, something known as sexual intercourse, coitus, or copulation needs to happen. Okay, so what happens after menopause? Better, nothing happens after menopause. The women no longer need their sanitary pads. Khatam. Okay, no Vedant, after menopause periods do not happen, beta. ठीक है, चलो. Now male discharges semen into the female's vagina, okay, close to the cervix during coitus or copulation. So when a male and a female have sex, okay, the male ejaculates or discharges semen into the female vagina, and this process is called insemination. This process is called insemination. So insemination is the process by which the male discharges his sperms into the female vagina. This is known as insemination, and the act is known as copulation or coitus or sexual intercourse. Okay, so what is insemination? Insemination is the process of a male discharging his semen into the female's vagina. Okay, and the entire act is known as your copulation or coitus. Okay. A single ejaculation of semen may contain 300 million sperms. Okay, a single ejaculation of semen may contain 300 million sperms. That is, when a male ejaculates, okay, a normal male usually ejects out roughly 300 million sperms into the female vagina. Okay, yes, Aishwarya, you're absolutely correct. Okay, okay. So I'll move forward now. No, nothing here. Okay, Pritesh, nobody knows that. Yeah. Okay, nobody knows that. Okay, maybe some weird scientist knows it, but most of the people do not know that. Okay, so shall I move forward? Nothing new here. Okay, how did they count? Beta, you can count it under an electron microscope. You can count it under an electron microscope. So what you can do is, beta, you take one drop. Okay, let's say you take 0.1 ml, and in 0.1 ml you can count the number of sperms, and a normal male ejaculates 2 to 3 ml of semen. So usko multiply kar do phir. That is how you can count. You don't need to take the entire ejaculate and see it under a microscope. You can take a very small amount. मैंने 0.1 ml भी ज़्यादा बोल दिया. You can take it less than that also, right? You can take 1 microliter of semen and you can see it under a electron microscope. You can count the number of sperms, and then you can multiply it with the appropriate number to see how much sperms are present in your क्या कहते हैं normal ejaculate of a male, which is like usually around 3 ml of ejaculate. Okay, I'll move forward then. Okay, Amritesh, there's no regeneration, beta. Sperms are not regenerated. Sperms are continuously being produced. Chalo, let's move forward then. Okay, so yeah, one more thing. I will be skipping some doubts if I think that they are not academically relevant. Okay, those people can ask their doubts later on. Okay, I will be sticking to only those doubts which I think are academically relevant. Okay, okay. So let's move forward then. Okay, so after that, what happens? From the vagina, the sperms travel up the uterus. Okay, so they're ejaculated in the vagina and then they start moving up the uterus. But only a few thousand find their way into the opening of the fallopian tubes, right? But only a few thousand find their opening into the fallopian tube. You eject millions of sperms, but only a few 100,000 make it to the opening of the fallopian tube. And we know that your fertilization takes place in the opening tube. Your fertilization take place in the opening tube. No, Aishwarya, males also have a limit, but in males can usually reproduce for longer. In males, usually the age is 60 to 65. Okay, it can be darshan, but in that case, the male might not have a high success rate of making a woman pregnant. Sure. Okay, so you ejaculate or eject your semen in the female vagina, and from there they travel upwards into the uterus, and from those 300 million sperms, only a few 100,000 make it to the opening of the fallopian tubes. Now, and how do they move upwards? Contractions of the uterus. If you remember, I told you that prostaglandins are present in the semen, right? And prostaglandin is responsible for minor contraction of the uterus, so that your sperms are assisted in moving upwards. Okay, and fallopian tubes. Okay, so contraction of the uterus and fallopian tubes assist in sperm movement, but after that they move by their own motility. That is, they use the swinging motion of the tail to move upwards. Initially the uterus contracts mildly to help them push upwards, but after a certain stage then they use the whipping motion of the tail to carry themselves up into the fallopian tube. Okay, where do the other sperms go? But the other sperms get destroyed. The other sperms get destroyed because of the acidic nature of the female vagina. The other sperms get destroyed. Okay, not 100, beta, 100,000. Okay, 100,000. They are not removed, beta. They get destroyed. You need not remove them. They automatically get destroyed. Okay, Hari, I failed to see a question in your statement. ठीक है? Yes, Sahana, that is true. So female uterus do contain some phagocytes which are responsible for destroying some of the sperms. Okay, so female uterus does contain some phagocytes which is responsible for your destruction of some of the sperms. Okay, so your sperms are put into the female vagina. From there they travel upwards into the fallopian tube by minor contractions of the uterus and the fallopian tube. But after a point, what happens is they move by their own motility. Okay, check it. देखो, I think 15 different people since I've started this chapter have asked me how do twins happen. I get it. You guys have doubt about how do twins happen. बेटा मैं बताऊंगा. अभी fertilization नहीं हुआ है. Let me cover everything. I will answer how do twins happen, how do triplets happen. I don't know why you guys are so obsessed with twins. I will tell. Okay, because I think 15 different people have asked me how do twins happen. I'll tell you. सही समय आएगा मैं बताऊंगा how do twins happen. बेटा, I get it. You guys are curious. ठीक है? No, Vedant. Degraded sperms are not released. They are destroyed. Phagocytes का काम क्या होता है यार? They engulf. Okay, ठीक है? There are no effects, बेटा. There are no effects. Okay. I failed to understand your question. ठीक है? Okay, so I'll move forward then. So far so good. Just give me a yes or no, बेटा. So far so good. Just give me a yes or no. So far so good. Okay. Beta Soumya, not relevant to the topic that I'm teaching. Not relevant to the topic that I'm teaching. So we'll talk about that later. Okay. Chalo. Shall we move forward? Chalo. Let's move forward then. If I find that your doubts are not relevant to the stuff that I'm teaching, I will ignore it. I will tell you it's not relevant. You stay back after the class, then you can ask me those doubts. Anyway, now, so there's a very important thing that you guys need to know, and that is that when the sperms are released, okay, they are not yet capable of fertilization. Okay. Because they are covered by certain codes. Okay, and then the sperms have to be activated or made capable of fertilization. Sakshi, आऊंगा बेटा उस पे. अभी fertilization कहाँ हुआ है? So why are you asking me right now? Does the head go into the ovum or the tail? अभी बताऊंगा ना मैं. देखेंगे fusion में. What goes into it, what does not. I'll come to it. Okay, चलो. So the sperms in the female's genital tract are made capable of fertilizing the egg by secretions of the female genital tract. The female genital tract, okay, the female genital tract secretes some fluids which makes the sperm capable of fertilization. Okay? Before, if you just take a normal sperm, okay, so even in I don't know how many of you have seen Good News. Give me a yes or no, beta. How many of you have seen Good News? Okay, how many of you have seen Good News, beta? I am pretty sure most of you people have seen that, right? It's okay. ठीक है? Do not raise your hand. Just give me a yes or no. यार, story नहीं पूछूंगा मैं. Just give me a yes or no. That would be fine. Okay, I'm not going to ask you guys stories of Good News. Okay, ठीक है. So in that case, you must have seen that Akshay Kumar goes for in vitro fertilization, right? Where they take the sperm of Akshay Kumar and inject it into Kareena Kapoor's baby, right? So even once they take the sperm from the male, they do not directly inject it in the female's egg. They have to put it in the solution. They have to put these sperms into a solution, and that solution is similar to the secretions of the female genital tract, because these secretions make the sperm capable of fertilization. If they directly take the sperm from the male and inject it in the female egg, it will not fertilize. Because it has not been activated by the secretions of the female genital tract. Okay, so the female genital tract plays a very important role in making the sperms capable of fertilization. Okay, Divya, again I'll explain. Do not worry, beta. I'll explain. Okay, and okay, how do they activate? So what does the secretion of the female genital tract do? What does the secretion of the female genital tract do? Okay, the secretions of the female genital tract remove coating substances deposited on the surface of the sperms, particularly those on the acrosome. So as you can see, this is your epididymal sperm. This is a sperm present in the epididymis. And then what happens is it comes in contact with the seminal plasma. Okay, in Rohit, baad mein, IVF baad mein karaunga. Do not ask me right now. Okay, so then what happens is the secretions of your seminal vesicle, Copper's gland, and prostate gland, they form your seminal plasma. So when your seminal plasma comes together with the sperms get coated. The sperms, as you can see, these green marks, the head of the sperm gets coated. So right now, if you take this sperm and inject it into a female egg, it will not cause fertilization. It will not cause fertilization. Okay? And this is where your secretion of the female genital tract comes in. So when your female genital tract secretions comes in contact with, as you can see, all those greens, as you can see, all those green coating have been removed. So now this sperm has been activated. Now this sperm has been activated. So what does the secretion of the female genital tract do? The secretion of the female genital tract activates the sperm or makes it capable of fertilization. And this process, okay, this process of sperm activation in mammals is known as capacitation, So what is capacitation? Capacitation is the sperm activation in mammals, which takes place by the secretion, of the, these are not enzymes, Naren beta, these are secretions. Okay, so they take place by the secretion of the female genital tract. Okay, so if you just take the sperm from a male and without making it pass through the secretion of the female genital tract, you put it into an egg, fertilization will not take place because the head of the sperm is covered by a coating. The female genital tract, the secretions of the female genital tract remove these coatings, and now the sperm is activated or capacitated, and now it is capable of causing fertilization. Okay, and now it is capable of causing fertilization. Okay, is this clear to everybody? Okay, no Pritish, aisa nahi hota, it gets removed completely. Okay, so what is present in that solution? So beta, the coating is usually glycoproteinic in nature. So the secretions are usually your carbohydrates and proteases. Okay, okay. Why are these coating necessary? So these coatings are necessary so that, you know, so let's say if a male ends up, let's say so this one second, I actually had a very good reason for this. So the reason why this coating exists is so that, let's say if there is a sample of male semen lying, let's say lying on a floor or lying on a bed or somewhere, you know, lying on a surface, not on the not exactly on the female, not exactly inside the female tract. So in that case, that semen which is outside the female tract is incapable of causing fertilization, So this process ensures that fertilization only happens if the semen is ejected inside the female vagina. The semen is ejected inside the female vagina. Only then fertilization can happen. That is why these coatings are necessary. So that if the semen is ejected anywhere else outside the female vagina, then fertilization will not take place because you need secretions of the female uterine tract to remove the coating so that the sperms are now activated. Okay, Vaishnav will come to that later, beta. We'll come to that later. Okay, okay. Beta, Chandrakala, the seminal fluid had a different role. The function of the seminal fluid is to make sure that the sperms get nourishment, make sure that the sperm remain motile. Okay, and neutralize the acidity of the female as well as the male urinary tract. The function of seminal, your seminal plasma is different. Okay, Sakshi, for the most part, I'm not aware of it, so I cannot say for that. Okay, so Kirtan, if the ovaries are not present in a female, then she will not experience menstrual cycle. Okay, because Naren, the sperms are not capable of surviving outside the male body or outside the female body. They require a very specific set of conditions in which they can survive. Okay, okay, okay. No, Sana. So far, is this clear? Is the term capacitation clear to everybody? Beta, give me a yes or no. Is the term capacitation clear to everybody? Okay, ठीक है, मैं पहले बताता हूँ. Okay, दीक्षित, IVF बेटा बाद में आएगा. IVF बाद में आएगा. Is capacitation clear to everybody, beta? Is capacitation clear to everybody? Okay, so Kirti, I've told that the secretions are usually secretions are usually your enzymes that break down your carbohydrates and proteins because the layer is made up of glycoprotein. Okay. Okay, if sperm does not reach its egg, then the sperms get destroyed, beta. The sperms get destroyed. Okay. Okay. आगे बढ़े फिर. So is capacitation clear? So what is capacitation? Capacitation is the activation of the sperms by the secretion of the female genital tract, so that the sperm is now capable of fertilizing the egg. I'll move forward now. Chalo, let's move forward. Okay. चलो, so now let's talk about, okay, now abhi tak humne sperm side ka baat kiya, now let's talk a bit about the egg side of the story also, because for fertilization you need a sperm and an egg, right? So let's talk a bit about the egg also. Now we know that secondary oocyte or ovum is released, okay, but a very important thing, before the release of secondary oocyte or ovum, that is, okay, before the release of the secondary oocyte or ovum, okay, Prajwal, beta is diagram mein kuch nahi hai, this is your sperm, this is your sperm that is present in the epididymis. Then when it comes in contact with the seminal plasma, it gets a coating, right? And this coating ensures that it is only capable of fertilization when it reaches the female genital tract. And when it enters the female genital tract, the female genital tract removes that coating. That is what the diagram is saying, beta. Basically, jo bhi maine upar theory mein rakha hai, that is what the diagram is helping you understand better. Okay? Okay. Make sure that you tell me promptly here, because if I have to shift in the middle of teaching something, then it gets distracted. Okay? Chalo. So before your egg is released, before your secondary oocyte or egg is released, what happens is it gets surrounded by a layer of cells known as corona radiata. So in your textbook, they have mentioned the term corona radiata, but they have not mentioned where does it come from or what is its function. They have just mentioned there is something known as corona radiata. So what happens is, before your egg is released by your rupturing of the Graafian follicle, the egg gets surrounded by cells. The egg gets surrounded by cells and they form a layer known as corona radiata. They form a layer known as corona radiata. And what is the function of corona radiata? Main purpose in animals is to supply vital proteins to the cell. Okay, so corona radiata provides vital proteins for the egg so that the egg can survive. Okay, so just so that if when you are reading your textbook you come across the term corona radiata, what is corona radiata, pata hona chahiye, right? So what is corona radiata? Corona radiata is a layer of cells that surround the egg before it is released by the rupture of the Graafian follicle, and the function of corona radiata is to supply vital proteins to the cell. Okay, okay, vital proteins, beta vital ka matlab kya hota hai? Vital means important. Okay, so it provides important proteins to the cells that proteins that are necessary for the cells to survive. Okay, okay, is corona radiata clear to everybody? Beta, give me a yes or no. Is corona radiata clear to everybody? Okay, Pritish, if corona radiata is not present, then your fertilization will not take place, beta. Okay, corona radiata is clear to everybody, because in a textbook they have just mentioned corona radiata. They have not told what it is, where it has come from, and what is its function. So I thought you guys should know what is corona radiata, where does it come from, and what is its function. So I'll move forward now. Chalo, let's move forward then. Okay, so now let's talk about, now we're getting closer. Now we're getting closer to the fusion. Okay, but okay, yes, Naren, corona radiata is important. Corona radiata is important. Okay, ठीक है. Beta granulosa तो पहले हो गया ना, Gagan, we have covered granulosa before itself. Okay, now the released secondary oocyte is received by the nearby fallopian funnel. So if you remember, you had an ovary and your ovary had this. So this was your fallopian tube, right? This was your fallopian tube which opens into a uterus, right? So your secondary oocyte is released. Your secondary oocyte is released by the ovary. Okay. No, Vaishnavi, you just need to know that they provide important proteins for the egg. Okay, that's it. Bas utna hi yaad rakhna hai. So now the egg is released by your ovary and then it is picked up by your fallopian funnel. This structure is known as your fallopian funnel. Okay, just so that you guys ask, sir, what is fallopian funnel? This is your fallopian funnel. Okay, funnel kya hota hai, right? Wo dekha hoga, you pour petrol using a funnel, right? So the released egg is picked up by your fallopian funnel and sent to the fallopian tube by movement of fimbriae and their cilia, right? So here they have finger-like projections known as fimbriae. So fimbriae along with cilia. So we know that the inner epithelium of the fallopian tube is made up of ciliated epithelium. So the cilia along with the fimbriae helps in moving the egg upwards. Okay? And then secondary oocyte can be fertilized only within 24 hours after its release. So once the egg has been released, fertilization should take place within 24 hours. If it does not take place within 24 hours, the egg will degenerate and no pregnancy will take place. Okay? So it should take place. So fertilization should take place within 24 hours after the release of the egg. If it does not take place, then the egg will degenerate. Okay? Okay. Now, the secondary oocyte is surrounded by numerous sperms, but only one sperm succeeds in fusing with the oocyte. Okay, so as you can see in the figure, that the oocyte or the egg gets surrounded by thousands of sperms, but only one sperm is able to fuse with the oocyte. Dhanush, if you remember, beta, I last class में बताया था, egg is released usually on the 13th or the 14th day in the middle of the menstrual cycle. Okay, so what did we learn in this particular slide? We learned that the secondary oocyte, which is released by the ovary, is picked up by the fallopian funnel. From there, it moves upward by the movement of the fimbriae as well as the cilia present inside the fallopian tube. And the fertilization, okay, Kishore, the second point here बोल रहा है बेटा कि अगर let's say अभी what is the time right now? The time right now is 12:10 p.m. right? 12:10 p.m. That is the time right now. Today is what? Today is Wednesday. Okay. So basically, what the second point is saying, that fertilization should take place before 12:10 p.m. on Thursday. Before 12:10 p.m. on Thursday. If it takes place before that, only then you will get a embryo or a zygote. Otherwise, the egg will degenerate. That is what Kishore, the second point says. Okay. Okay. So that is what the second point says. And then the secondary oocyte gets surrounded by thousands of sperm. Okay. The secondary oocyte is surrounded by thousands of sperm, but only one of them manages to enter the secondary oocyte or your ovum. Okay. No, Pritish, no. Yes, Shreya, for the most part it is same. Obviously, exact 24 hours nahi hota beta. It's not like a timer, time bomb nahi hai. You know, 10, 9, aja sperm, otherwise मैं degenerate ho. It's not like roughly 24 hours. Obviously, in some females it can be 25, 26. In some females it can be 20, 22 hours. It's not exact. Okay, it's not exact. How do we know egg is released? Beta, if a female has normal menstrual cycle, then egg will be released around 13th or 14th day. ठीक है? And बेटा अभिषेक, मैं last class में बताया था, pregnancy stops during period stop during pregnancy. बताया था मैं last class में. ठीक है? बेटा first point, शाश्वत, first point, look at the figure. Figure में क्या बोला मैं? कि what am I saying in the figure? Your secondary oocyte is released and then it is picked up by this funnel shape. And this shape is known as what? Fallopian funnel. The opening of the fallopian tube is known as fallopian funnel. And after that, the egg moves upward by the help of fimbriae, which is finger-like structure, and by the presence of cilia, that push the egg upward to the ampulla region where fertilization takes place. ठीक है? Okay, Pritish, मुझे तुम्हारा doubt समझ नहीं आ रहा बेटा, तो class में रुक जाना, फिर बता देना, मैं बता दूंगा. Okay, so is this clear to everybody? Okay, just give me a yes or no, beta. Is this clear to everybody? Just give me a yes or no. Yes, beta. If a girl is menstruating, तब कैसे fertilization होगा? For fertilization, egg has to be released, right? An egg releases during the middle of the menstrual cycle. So if a girl is on her periods, how would fertilization take place? No, नहीं होगा यार. अरे यार, you're pretty sure imagining physical objects coming together. They are not like that. ठीक है? Okay. Naren, not relevant to the academics. Stay back after the class. We'll talk about that later. ठीक है? चलो. Okay. No. Okay. Viresh, that does not happen. Now, what is fertilization? The process of fusion of a sperm with an ovum is called fertilization. Chetna, zona pellucidea ka role kya hai? I'll come to it later. Okay. Now, the process of fusion of a sperm with an ovum is called what? It is called fertilization. Okay. And in human beings, मैं बताया था, fertilization takes place mostly in the ampullary region of oviduct, right? There are three parts of the fallopian tube, if you remember, right? So your fertilization takes place in the middle portion, that is your ampulla portion, right? So your fertilization takes place in the ampulla of the fallopian tube, right? Okay. After that, the capacitated sperms. Capacitated sperms का मतलब क्या? Activated sperms undergo acrosomal reaction. क्या होता है acrosomal reaction? बताता हूँ. एक second wait करो. And release various chemicals contained in the acrosome. So if you remember, मैंने बोला था that your acrosome is a bow-like structure present on top of the head, present on top of the sperm, and acrosome contains a lot of enzymes. So when a sperm comes in contact with an egg, the acrosome breaks open, and that is known as acrosomal reaction. The acrosome breaks open, and that is known as acrosomal reaction. And this acrosomal reaction releases various chemicals contained in the acrosome, and these chemicals are known as sperm lysins. Okay, so if you remember, your sperm had a coating, right? Your sperm had a coating. So this coating was called your acrosome, right? And acrosome contained a lot of enzymes. Okay, and chemicals, and these chemicals are known as sperm lysins. Okay, lysine का मतलब क्या? To break anything down. So these enzymes help in breaking down the membranes of the egg so that the sperm can penetrate. Okay, so what did we learn in this slide? We learned that the fusion of the sperm and an egg is called fertilization. Fertilization takes place in the ampulla. Okay, does not take place in the isthmus, does not take place in the posterior part of the fallopian tube. It takes place in the ampulla. Yes, Meghna. Okay, and once a sperm comes in contact with the egg, the acrosome opens, and this is known as acrosomal reaction. And it releases various chemicals contained in the acrosome. It contains various enzymes which are released, and these enzymes, these chemicals are known as sperm lysins. बेटा प्रज्वल, मैं अभी बोला lysine का मतलब क्या होता है? Lysins are chemicals that break something down. Lysine कहाँ से आया? Lysis का मतलब क्या होता है? Break something down, right? Okay, is this clear to everybody? बेटा, so far so good. Give me a yes or no. So far so good. ठीक है, आगे बढ़े. Shall I move forward then? ठीक है. Okay, Pushpa, I'll come to it. अभी रुक जाओ. I'll get into more detail. यहाँ तक सबको clear हुआ? So far so good. चलो, let's move forward then. Okay. Now, pay close attention. थोड़ा सा अभी complicated होगा. Okay, it will be slightly confusing, but if you are patient, I will help you guys understand it. Now, देखो, the secretions of the acrosome help the sperm enter into the cytoplasm of the ovum through the zona pellucida and plasma membrane. Okay, so we know that the egg not only contains a plasma membrane, it also contains a zona pellucida. Uske bahar corona radiata bhi hai. So there are so many layers of protection. So that is where the enzymes or the secretions or the chemicals of acrosome come in handy, because these secretions help in removing these barriers so that your sperm can enter into the cytoplasm of the ovum. Hyaluronic acid, Vaishnavi. Okay. Okay. Now, what happens is, just after the fusion of sperm and plasma membrane of oocyte. So as you can see here, that the plasma membrane and the sperm are fusing. The plasma membrane and the sperm are fusing, right? And what does this do? Okay, the secondary oocyte shows a cortical reaction. Now, what is cortical reaction, right? Okay, so what happens is, when the sperm comes in contact with your plasma membrane of the egg, there is something known as cortical reaction. Okay, what is cortical reaction and why is it important? Okay, so there are cortical granules that are present beneath the plasma membrane of the secondary oocyte. So as you can see that there are small cortical granules. Which are present below the plasma membrane. This is your plasma membrane of the egg. This is your plasma membrane of egg. So what happens is, below the plasma membrane of the egg, below the plasma membrane of the egg, okay, below the plasma membrane of the egg, what happens is, there are small granules. There are small granules which are known as cortical granules, and they play a very important role. And they play a very important role. What is their role? What is their role? Let's see. Okay. So what happens is, once the sperm has fused with the plasma membrane, once the sperm has fused with the plasma membrane from the outside, what happens is, these granules fuse with the plasma membrane of the oocyte. These granules fuse with the, so from under the plasma membrane, they will fuse with the plasma membrane of the oocyte. And what will they do? They will release their contents, including cortical enzymes. So the cortical granules contain cortical enzymes. And what they do is that they will release those enzymes. They will release those enzymes between the plasma membrane and the zona pellucida. So let's say this is your egg. This is your zona pellucida. Okay, this is your zona pellucida. Okay, this is your zona pellucida. And then this is your plasma membrane. This is your plasma membrane of the egg. This is your plasma membrane of the egg. Okay. And under the plasma membrane, there are cortical granules. Under the plasma membrane, there are cortical granules. What happens is, once a sperm comes in contact with the plasma membrane, these granules will fuse with the plasma membrane, and they will release their secretions in this space. That is the space between your zona pellucida and the plasma membrane. Okay? And this is known as cortical reaction. And why is this necessary? Because these enzymes harden the zona pellucida, which prevents entry of additional sperm, that is polyspermy. Okay? So that is why cortical reaction is so important, because cortical reaction ensures that more than one sperm does not fuse with the egg. Okay? So what happens is, once a sperm comes in contact with the plasma membrane, the cortical granules at the bottom fuse with the plasma membrane from the underneath, and they will release their secretions in this space, which is known as perivinyl space. Okay, the space between the zona pellucida and the plasma membrane. And then these secretions make the zona pellucida even harder. As a result of which, if you go back to the figure, now a sperm cannot pass through the zona pellucida, because the zona pellucida has been hardened by the secretions of the cortical granule, and this is known as cortical reaction. Okay, so is the cortical reaction clear to everybody? Better give me a yes or no. Is the cortical reaction clear to everybody? Give me a yes or no. What is cortical reaction? Why is it important? So when does cortical reaction takes place? Cortical reaction takes place when a sperm comes in contact, with your plasma membrane of the egg. As soon as it comes in contact with the plasma membrane, the cortical granules underneath the plasma membrane, they fuse. Okay, they fuse with the plasma membrane and release their secretions. And they release their, ये देखो फिर से किसी ने ट्विन का क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया. अरे भाई ट्विन का क्वेश्चन बाद में कराऊंगा, बता दूंगा ट्विन कैसे होते हैं. जस्ट वेट, डू नॉट आस्क मी सेम थिंग हाउ ट्विन्स आर बोर्न, बताऊंगा. ओके, ठीक है, हाउ डू ट्विन्स हैपन एकदम. ओके, चाहिए तो मैं फोटोज भी दिखा दूंगा, व्हाट डू ट्विन्स लुक लाइक, बट गिव मी सम टाइम बेटा. in every class someone or the other has asked me how are twins formed, how are twin forms. ठीक है, okay, anyway, ठीक है. रुक जाओ धनुष, just wait, let me summarize everything. Okay, I have one more figure, घबराओ मत यार, I have one more figure with me. Let's look at this figure. Okay, देखो. So what is happening is, these dots that you see, these are your cortical granules. These are your cortical granules. Okay, these are your cortical granules. Okay, these are your cortical granules. Okay, now this layer, okay, this layer is this is your zona pellucida. This is your zona pellucida. Okay, and this thin layer is your plasma membrane. And the space between the plasma membrane and the zona pellucida is known as your perivitinyl space. एंड देखो क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे, acrosomal reaction is taking place. In acrosomal reaction, what is happening? As you can see, that the acrosome has popped open and its secretions are now being released. Its secretions are now being released. And these acrosomal reactions, okay, these acrosomal reactions, what do? These acrosomal reaction, they cause fusion, okay, fused plasma membrane. They cause fusion of the plasma membrane of the sperm and the plasma membrane of the egg. And as soon as this fusion happens, you can see that the cortical granule fuses with the plasma membrane. The cortical granule fuses with the plasma membrane and releases its secretion. ये देखो यहाँ पे पूरा release कर दिया, and releases its secretion, right? Cortical granule content, and releases its secretion into that space between the plasma membrane and the zona pellucida. That space is known as perivitrinal space. And this content, this release of content, hardens the zona pellucida to ensure that other sperms now cannot come and fuse with the egg. This is your entire cortical reaction, and this is how the initial part of the fertilization take place. Okay, I'll just remove all this. Okay, so that is how your reaction takes place. Now tell me, is this clear to everybody? Beta, give me a yes or no. Now tell me, is this clear to everybody? Give me a yes or no, beta. Now is this clear to everybody? Okay, no Pritish, there is always a small milliseconds ka bhi hoga, that is more than enough. Yeah. Is this now clear to everybody? What is cortical reaction? Okay, so people are asking what happens if, yes Sakshi, only one sperm fuses with one egg. Only one sperm fuses. If by chance two sperms do fuse with one egg, the resultant gets destroyed because the chromosome numbers are way too much. The resultant gets destroyed. First of all, it doesn't happen. By any chance, if it does happen, whatever the resulting structure you get, it gets destroyed. ठीक है? Okay. ठीक है? लक्ष्मण, लास्ट स्लाइड में जो भी है बेटा वो यहाँ पे फिगर में है. So जो भी लास्ट स्लाइड में है, that is what I've explained in the figure. Whatever we learned in the form of theory in the previous slide, everything is given in the form of diagram in this slide. ठीक है? Okay. No, Vedant, that doesn't happen. ठीक है? So I'll repeat the entire thing once again. Your sperm comes in contact. Okay, your sperm comes in contact with the ovum. It causes acrosome reaction. What is acrosome reaction? Arey Dhanush beta, ruk jao beta, wait for it. Okay, I got your doubt. Nahi clear karunga. You stay back after the class. And you ask me doubt. I'll clear it up. Okay, ठीक है? Okay, so what is the first step? Okay, what is chalo yaar, tum logo ko I think you guys understand flow chart better, so let me help you guys in the form of a flow chart. Okay, so what happens is there is a sperm. Okay, there's a sperm. The sperm reaches your ampulla region. Okay, and then there it comes in contact with egg. Okay, after that what happens is, acrosomal reaction takes place. What is acrosomal reaction? In acrosomal reaction, these sperm licenses are released. The sperm licenses are released. Okay? The sperm licenses are released. And after that, what happens is beta, plasma membrane, or I'll just write membrane. The membrane of the sperm and the egg fuse. Membrane of sperm and egg fuse. Okay? As a result of that, what will happen? Is your cortical granules. Your cortical granules fuse with plasma membrane. Okay? And as a result of that, what happens is zona pellucida hardens. And as a result of that, what happens is zona pellucida hardens. Okay, and after that, once zona pellucida hardens, what happens is, once zona pellucida hardens, then polyspermy is avoided. No polyspermy takes place. Polyspermy का मतलब क्या? Okay, polyspermy का मतलब क्या होता है? Polyspermy means fusion of more than one sperm with an egg. That is known as polyspermy. ठीक है? Now is this entire process clear, beta? Give me a yes or no. Now is this entire process? Obviously, Meghna, it is a very rapid process. It is a very rapid process. Chetan, I do not know. I do not know. Is this now clear to everybody? Up to flowchart bana diya beta. Since all of you understand the language of flowchart, I hope now all of you are clear with how exactly the initial process of fertilization takes place. Okay? Okay, Naren, I do not know the answer to your question. I do not know the answer to your question, beta. Okay? So shall I move forward now? Sure. Let's move forward. Okay? Now, okay? The point of contact with the sperms, okay, at the point of contact with the sperm, the secondary oocyte forms a projection termed as cone of reception or fertilization cone. So if you look at it, once it has pierced through the plasma membrane, the oocyte, okay, projects up a bit. Okay, say hill types are there is a slight peak. There is a slight peak, and this slight peak is known as your fertilization cone or cone of reception. And what does it function? Its function is to receive the sperm. So wherever the sperm comes in contact with the plasma membrane, the oocyte projects out a bit. The oocyte projects out a bit, and this is known as your fertilization cone. This is known as your fertilization cone. This is known as your fertilization cone or cone of reception. And what is its function? Its function is to receive the sperm. Its function is to receive the sperm. Okay? Now, the proximal centriole of the sperm. If you remember, I told you that in sperm there are two centrioles, a proximal centriole and a distal centriole. So what happens is the proximal centriole, okay, the proximal centriole divides and forms two centrioles. If you remember the structure of this sperm, right, in the structure of this sperm, in the neck region, I told you that there are centrioles present here. So that centriole was your proximal centriole. That centriole was your proximal centriole, right? And what happens is, once the plasma membrane has fused, that is, once the head is inside the oocyte, the proximal centriole divides. The proximal centriole divides and produces two centrioles. And these two centrioles generate the mitotic spindle, which is necessary, because अगर तुम्हें याद होगा secondary oocyte में अभी सिर्फ meiosis 1 हुआ है, meiosis 2 is still left. Okay, we have only completed meiosis 1, and for meiosis 2 you need spindle fibers, and for spindle fibers you need centrioles, and the centriole is provided by the sperm. Okay, so what all we have learned so far in this slide, that the place where the sperm comes in contact with the plasma membrane, the oocyte forms a slight projection, एक छोटा सा पहाड़ type बना लेता है. Okay, and that projection is known as fertilization cone or cone of reception. Okay, and its function is to receive the sperm. Once the sperm head has fused with the egg, the proximal centriole, the centriole that was present in the neck region, the proximal centriole divides. Okay, the proximal centriole divides and it gives rise to two centrioles, and these two centrioles generate your mitotic spindle. Okay, and why do they need mitotic spindle? Why do they need proximal centriole of the sperm? Because mammalian secondary oocyte or egg does not have centrioles of its own. This is a very important point. That is, the mammalian egg does not have centrioles or its own. That is why it gets stuck. At the end of meiosis 1, because it does not contain centrioles of its own. So the second meiosis yoga, that is your meiosis 2, for that you need centrioles, and the centrioles come from the sperms. Okay, so this is very important. So the sperms that is present in a human being, right? So all these centrioles present in all the cells of my body, they came from my father. because my mother's egg did not contain centriole. And the same is applicable for all of you. All the centrioles present in all your cells came from your father, because egg does not contain centrioles of its own. So the centrioles that you have in your cells, those all centrioles came from your father. Okay? Just like mitochondria is provided by the mother, the centrioles are provided by the father. Okay? So this is then. So I have a question for you. Okay, which nobody asked for some reason. If the egg does not have centrioles of their own, then how does meiosis 1 take place? Right? Because what am I saying? That the egg does not contain centrioles of its own. So I have a question. If the egg does not contain centrioles of its own, then how does meiosis 1 take place? Does anybody know the answer? Okay. Beta, Dhanush, if that happens, then there is a defect. Then then zygote formation does not take place. Okay. So the reason that is, a primary oocyte has centrioles, but once meiosis 1 is completed, for some reason the centrioles are kicked out by the secondary oocyte. Why does that happen? How does that happen? Scientists are still trying to figure it out. Okay, so a primary oocyte has centrioles, and that is what helps it in meiosis 1. But as soon as a secondary oocyte is formed, for some reason the secondary oocyte kicks out its centriole. Why does it happen? How does it exactly happen? Scientists are still trying to figure it out. And the secondary oocyte, that is why it gets stuck in meiosis at the end of meiosis 1, because now it needs new pair of centriole. And where does that centriole comes from? That centriole comes from your sperms. Okay? So I'll repeat the entire slide again. What is the slide saying? The slide is saying that the first point says that wherever the sperm is going to enter, the egg forms a slight cone. It's a छोटा सा पहाड़ type बन जाता है, and that is known as your fertilization cone or cone of reception. As you can see here, देखो यहाँ पे छोटा सा पहाड़ सा बन गया, right? This is known as your fertilization cone. Okay, and the second point is saying that the proximal centriole, which I mentioned in the neck region of the sperm, once the head has fused with this, once the head of the sperm has fused with the egg, then the proximal centriole divides and enters into the egg. And why do they enter? Because the secondary oocyte does not have centriole on its own. So in order to transition from meiosis 1 to meiosis 2, it needs centrioles, it needs mitotic spindle. Okay, and that is why the centrioles that are present in your body, you received that from your father, because your mother's egg did not contain any centriole. Okay, the centrioles that you have in your body, they came from your father. Okay, okay, is this now clear to everybody? Beta, give me a yes or no. Is this clear to everybody? Give me a quick yes or no, beta. यहाँ तक सबको समझा क्या? ठीक है? So there are two very important points. That is, the mammalian egg does not contain centriole. Okay, and the centrioles are provided by the sperms. Okay, Kishore, what is the function of centrioles? Beta, cell cycle and cell division याद नहीं क्या? Centrioles का function क्या होता है? They give rise to mitotic spindle, which binds to the chromosome, pulls the chromosome apart. Right? आगे बढ़े? चलो. Now let's move forward. Okay, now since now the egg has a centriole, now what will happen is the sperm entry stimulates the secondary oocyte to complete the suspended second meiotic division. Because बेचारे के पास centrioles नहीं था, as a result of that it could not do meiosis 2. But now, since the sperm has provided the centrioles, now egg will undergo second meiotic division. Okay, and as a result of that, what will happen? The second meiotic division will give rise to a haploid mature ovum. So this is your mature ovum, and it will give rise to a second polar body. So this is your
polar body, and this is your second polar body. This was your first polar body, right? Which was formed at the end of meiosis 1. Which was formed at the end of meiosis 1. Okay? Yes, Vedant, they get degraded. Why do they get degraded? Like, why are there no centrioles present in secondary oocyte? Nobody knows the reason for that. Scientists are still trying to figure it out. Okay? Okay, Pritish, I'm not sure about that. Yeah. Okay? So, once the centrioles have been provided by the sperm, once the centriole has been provided by the sperm, okay, then the second meiotic division is completed by secondary oocyte, and that gives rise to your mature ovum. That gives rise to your mature ovum. So what happens to the polar body? The polar body gets degraded. The polar body does not serve any purpose and it gets degraded. Shreya, the first polar body gets degraded here itself, and then the second polar body gets degraded later on. Okay, the polar body do not survive. They get degraded because they do not serve any purpose. Okay, so far so good. I'll move forward. Chalo, let's move forward then. Okay, chalo. Now, abhi fusion ho gaya hai, right? Fusion ho gaya hai. You now have a mature ovum. Okay, you now have a mature ovum, and now you have now your nucleus of the sperm, which has now also entered the egg. Which has now also entered the egg. Okay, now the head of the sperm contains the nucleus. The head of the sperm contains the nucleus and separates from the middle piece and the tail, right? It separates from the middle piece and the tail. It separates from the middle piece and the tail and becomes pronucleus. So the head portion detaches from your middle piece and your tail. The head portion detaches from your middle piece and the tail, and now this is known as your male pronucleus. This is now known as your male pronucleus. This is now known as your male pronucleus. Okay? And what happens is the second polar body and the sperm tail degenerate. As you can see in this figure, that the sperm tail is degenerating, and the first and second polar bodies will also now degenerate. Okay? And what do you have? You have a male pronucleus, you have a female pronucleus. Okay? The ovum, the nucleus of the ovum is called female pronucleus. Okay? So the nucleus of the sperm is known as male pronucleus. The nucleus of the ovum is known as female pronucleus. The tail as well as the middle piece and the polar bodies will now degenerate, and the polar bodies will now degenerate because they have served their purpose. बेचारा middle piece का function क्या था? It contained mitochondria to provide the energy for the tail. Tail का function क्या था? To make sure that the sperm reaches the egg. So since their function is done, now we do not need them any longer. ठीक है? So far so good, beta. Give me a yes or no. यहाँ तक clear है? ठीक है? Is this clear to everybody? ठीक है? Shall I move forward now? Okay. Yes, Mridula, that is why we say that we receive mitochondria from the mother cell, because the mitochondria of the father cell gets degenerated with the middle piece. Okay? That is why we say that mitochondria comes from your mother and the centrioles come from your father. So if you have any mitochondrial disease, that means you got that from your mother. Okay? And if there's any problem with your centrioles, that means you got that from your father. Okay? Okay. Okay, so shall I move forward? Yes, Sakshi, that is what it means. Okay, that's so. Shall I move forward now? Okay, chalo, let's move forward then. Now, okay, I just need 5 more minutes. I just need 5 more minutes. Okay, so the male and the female pronuclei move towards each other. The male and the female pronuclei move toward each other. Their nuclear membranes disintegrate. Obviously, if they have to fuse, okay, their nuclear membrane degenerate. Okay, the nuclear membrane degenerate. Vedant, I failed to understand your question, beta. Now, mixing up of the chromosome of a sperm and an ovum is known as karyogamy or amphimixis. So, as you can see here, breakdown of pronuclear membranes, and as a result of that, their chromosomes get intermixed, and that is known as your karyogamy or amphimixis. So, what happens is your head separates from the middle piece and the tail. The middle piece and the tail gets degenerated, and the same goes for the polar bodies also. The same goes for the polar bodies also. And then what happens is the male and the female pronuclei come together, their nuclear membrane degenerates. Their nuclear membrane degenerates and the chromosomes get mixed up. And this process is known as karyogamy or amphimixis. Ye to sab to simple hai, right? There's nothing complicated here. Now, okay, just one last point and then we'll stop the class. Okay, so the fertilized egg is now called zygote. Okay, a fertilized egg is called what? Zygote. Zygote is diploid unicellular cell that has 46 chromosomes in humans. So it is very important that zygote is diploid unicellular cell. Zygote is a diploid unicellular cell. Zygote unicellular hota beta, but it is diploid because fusion of a haploid sperm and a haploid egg gives rise to a diploid, zygote. The mother is now said to be pregnant. And that was your entire journey of fertilization. That was your entire journey of fertilization. Abhi khatam nahi hua hai. Kal hum padhenge how does a zygote turn into a baby. Okay, how does a zygote turn into a baby. Okay, tomorrow that is what our main topic is. Okay, okay, abhi congratulations mat karo. Okay, let's not arrange the baby shower yet. Abhi bahut cheezein baki hai. Okay, okay, so is this clear to everybody? Beta, give me a quick yes or no. Is this clear to everybody? Just give me a quick yes or no, beta. Okay, okay. So thank you very much for your patience. Okay, just give me a quick feedback and then you guys are free to go. Okay, so as always, thank you very much for your patience. I really appreciate it. I hope that you guys learned something. I hope that you guys understood today's class. I will be posting your worksheet or module sheet for the first chapter because you have test this Sunday. So make sure that you guys study from it. Okay. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for your patience. If you have any doubts, just stay back after the class. I will be clearing them up. Okay. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care till then. Bye-bye.